Good afternoon, friends. Today we'll see the topic good manufacturing practices. It is also called as GMP. Basically, GMP is a teamwork because in the manufacturing sector there are multiple departments or sections are involved, and without collaboration of all the departments or sections, we can't achieve the GMP. So we can say that GMP is everybody's responsibility. Now we'll see the introduction to GMP. GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. It is a set of principles and guidelines that ensure products are consistently produced and controlled according to the quality standards. Means basically GMP is giving the assurance that we are producing the product with high standard. Now we'll see the GXP principle in the pharmaceutical. In GXP, G stands for good, P stands for practices, and X is a variable. Means if we are talking about the manufacturing, it will be good manufacturing practices and it is also called as GMP. If we are talking about the laboratory, it will be good laboratory practices and it is also called as GLP. If we are talking about the documentation, it will be good documentation practices and it is also called as GDP. If we are talking about the warehouse practices, it will be good warehouse practices and it is also called as GWP. If we are talking about the engineering practices, it will be called as good engineering practices and it is called as GEP. If we see nowadays, the concept came cGMP. C stands for current, means it is a expression of continuous improvement and current practices. Now we'll see the evaluation of GMP. First of all, we have to understand why GMP is needed in the pharmaceutical. When the GMP was evaluated, the GMP started in the 1937 when due to diethylene glycol impurity in sulfanilamide elixir 107 deaths are reported. So it was a big blunder. That's why in 1938 Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act introduced in USA. After that in 1941 sulfanazole tablet contaminated with phenobarbital and 300 deaths was reported. It's a second blunder. And in 1960, thalidomide tragedy in Europe, around 10,000 cases were reported. So in 1962, it's a FDA authority was established. And in 1963, FDA was prepared by USA and they also published the GMP guideline. And finally, in 1947, uh, the contaminated IV fluid incidence sterile product validation expanded. And in 1975, WHO issued GMP guidelines. And in 1981, again, Telenol tampering issue was reported and 7 deaths were reported. Okay, so basically we can say that the FD&C Act was commissioned in 1938 and with some upgradation due to various issues reported year by year. In 1963, GMP was established and finally in 1979, cGMP concept was came. Now we'll see the objective of GMP. The first objective is to ensure consistent quality of pharmaceutical product. Without GMP, we can't maintain the quality of the product because GMP is giving the various guidelines. And according to those guidelines, if we are producing the product, definitely we will achieve the GMP and we will get a quality of product. To prevent contamination, mix-up and error during the manufacturing, there are some chapters in GMP. They are giving the guidelines how to maintain the segregation within the production department, how to avoid the contamination, how to avoid the mix-up, how to avoid the errors. There are various fundamentals available in the GMP. So with maintaining those fundamentals, we can avoid the contamination mix-ups. The third one, to ensure product safety and efficacy for the patient. If we are taking the product, that product should be safe for the patient and it should be efficient, means it should give the results. So without GMP, we can't ensure the safety and efficacy of the product. To standardize manufacturing process through approved procedures. The base of GMPs, we have two establish the procedures, standard procedures. We have to evaluate the procedures. We have to validate the procedures. We have to qualify the procedures. The purpose of all these exercises to maintain the consistency in the results, to maintain proper documentation and traceability. The documentation and traceability are very important. Suppose if any market complaint is reported, uh, for investigation purpose, we need to review all the documentation. When we are reviewing the documentations and processes, we will come to know what was the exact root cause for this blunder or this market complaint, and according to that investigation or root cause, we can take a appropriate action on the that market complaint, and we can avoid the reoccurrence of that particular event. Next objective is to comply with regulatory requirements and prevent adulteration. There are many regulatory authorities publish their own guidelines. More or less, all the regulatory guidelines are same, and the motto of all the guidelines are same. So that if we are maintaining the one guideline, ultimately we will maintain all the guidelines and we will get a quality products. The next objective is to build quality into the process, not really only on the final testing. When we will get a proper final testing, because there are multiple processes are involved or multiple stages are involved in the production, so that if we are maintaining the quality within all the stages, then only we will get a final results or final testing with the proper quality. Now we'll see the subparts of GMP according to the WHO TRS guideline. First sub-part is quality management. Under quality management, there are pharmaceutical quality system. It is also called as PQS, quality risk management, and management review and continual improvement. Pharmaceutical quality system is very important to maintain the quality of the products. Quality risk management. Quality risk management nowadays, it is a very important tool. If we are using the quality risk management, we can't means we can avoid the risk associated with the product, risk associated with the system, so that we can avoid the market complaints or blunders or accidents. And the next one is management review and continual improvement. When we are using the pharmaceutical quality system, again, this quality risk management, we are getting some outcomes, and we have to present those outcomes in the management review meetings, so that we will get approvals for the improvements, and we can improve our systems. The next one is personal. Under personal, we have to see organization and responsibilities, training, hygiene, and health, qualification of the staff, organization and responsibility. If you see, as I said, there are multiple departments are involved in the factory or manufacturing sector. So there are many people are involved, so that it would be good if we are defining the responsibility of each and every individual, so that we can take accountability of that particular work. The next fundamental is training, hygiene, and health. The training is a very important fundamental in the GMP, because whatever the processes we are performing in the GMP, if the persons are not trained, they can't perform the work with the GMP and will not get a quality. So that training is very important. Also, at the same time, we have to maintain the hygiene. Suppose if hygiene is not maintained in the system, the products will be contaminated, and it will be creating the risk for the human health. The next one is the qualification of staff. It is also a very important factor. If we are assigning the qualified staff in the process, we will get the quality products. The next fundamental is premises. Under premises, we have to see facility design and layout, cleanliness and maintenance, prevention of mix-up and contamination. Now we'll go one by one. Facility design and layout. There are many guidelines given in the GMP regulatory guidelines regarding the facility design, like uniflow should be maintained in the design, cross contamination should be avoided in the this our system, and also we have to maintain the HVAC system to avoid the cross contamination, and the layout should be feasible for the GMP production. The next one is cleanliness and maintenance. The premises, the equipment, the system should be cleanliness friendly, means it should be easy to clean and easy to maintain. The next one is prevention of mix-up and contamination. If we are maintaining all the system properly, we can prevent mix-up and contamination. The next sub part is equipment. Under equipment, we will see the design, qualification, and calibration and maintenance and equipment preventive maintenance. Okay, first of all, we'll see the design, installation, and qualification. When we are purchasing the new equipment, it should be qualified. The qualification will give the assurance that that particular equipment is working as per the predefined parameters, so that we can use it for the production, routine production. The next one is a calibration. Calibration, there are many means gauges we are using, many sensors we are using. Those sensors, timers, gauges should be calibrated so that we will get exact results. The next one is equipment preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is also important factor, because suppose if you are maintaining the facility with the proper preventive maintenance planning, the facility will be maintained and the equipments are also maintained, and in that case we can produce a quality products. Now we'll see the next part of GMP. The next part is documentation. Under documentation, we have to see the SOPs, records, and specifications. The next one is good documentation practices, and the next one is the data integrity, ALGOA. Now we'll see the SOPs. What is SOPs? SOPs are the standard operating procedures. Suppose there are many equipments in the process, there are many documents, there are many systems. To standardize the processes, we should generate a standard operating processes, so that what will happen, we'll get a consistency in the operation and we can get a quality products. The next one is records. The use of records, we have to maintain all the activities, we have to record all the activities whichever we are performing, so that what will happen, we can achieve the traceability of the operation. And next one is specification. Every activity is specified in the GMP environment, like testing. There are some standard specifications. According to those specifications, we have to test the products. The next one is good documentation practices. Good documentation practices are very important in the GMP culture, because without good documentation practices, we can't maintain the data integrity. Means will not get a assurance that operations are performed as per the maintained data. The next one is data integrity. It is also called as ALCOA principles. ALCOA principles basically maintain in the pharmaceutical sector to maintain the integrity. Actually, this is the vast topic. We'll see the ALCOA principle in next video. The next part is production. Under production, we have to see manufacturing, operation, in-process controls, and prevention of cross-contamination. The manufacturing operations. As I said, there are multiple stages or multiple operations we are performing in the manufacturing. So it should be important that if we are operating all the operations with the GMP, so that we can get the quality products. The next one is in-process control. The use of in-process control is to ensure the quality when we are producing the product. If the in-process control within the limit, then it will give the assurance that we are producing the product with the proper quality. The next one is prevention of cross-contamination. As I said, multiple departments or multiple products we are running in the manufacturing, so that it is very important to maintain the prevention for the cross contamination or mix up. The next part is quality control. Under quality control, we have to see the sampling and testing, stability studies, and release and rejection of material products. Sampling and testing. The sampling is very important. We have to sample when the raw materials, packaging materials are coming, and once we are testing and after satisfactory testing, we have to release the raw material, packaging material for further use. When we are producing the products, we have to test the product at all the intermediate stage, and when the product is behaving in satisfactory manner, then we have to release it for the next stages. And finally, we have to also test the finished goods, so that it will give the assurance that products are maintained with proper quality. The next one is stability study. Stability study is very important for the maintaining this shelf life of the products. Our product should be stable for the mentioned period, like 24 months, 36 months. If our products are means safe during the stability study, it will give the assurance that our product will be stable throughout the shelf life. The next one is release and rejection of the material products. If all the results are satisfactory, we have to release the products. But if our results are not satisfactory, we have to reject the material or products so that we can maintain the patient's safety and efficacy. The next one is contract job. Technical quality agreement. Technical quality agreement is a very important fundamental. Nowadays, regulators are also asking the technical quality agreements with the service provider, with the suppliers. The purpose of technical quality agreements is to mention the responsibility of the both the parties, like contract giver and contract receiver, so that the ambiguities will not come when we are doing the commercial transactions, and responsibilities of the contract giver and contract uh, receiver. Now we'll see the complaints and recall. Handling of complaints. The handling of complaints is very important, because if we are not means investigating the complaints in a proper way, we should not avoid the reoccurrence of the complaint, so that we should give the high priority to the complaint investigation. Once we are investigating the complaint, we have to take appropriate kappa so that we can avoid the reoccurrence of the complaint. The recall system effectiveness. Suppose if the market complaint is impacting on the process health of patient, we should recall the products. And suppose if recall is not happen within the 2 years, we should check the recall system effectiveness. It is also called as mock recall. In that, we have to recall our product from the market, and we have to check the effectiveness of mock recall process. Next one is internal audits. Basically, it is also called as self-inspection. These are the planned audits we have to perform within the facility. All the departments involved in the, and we have to involve we have to audit all the sections in the manufacturing area, and QA will lead the these internal audits. And when we are doing the audits, it is much obvious that we will get some observations, and we have to take a follow-up on the corrective actions, so that we can avoid the reoccurrence of that particular observations. The next important part is validation. The process validation, cleaning validation, and computerized system validation. These are the three important components of validation. First one is process validation. It is related to process, and it gives the assurance that the processes are performing within the predefined limits, and it is giving the consistent quality products. Cleaning validation. Cleaning validation is to ensure the uh, cleaning process, effectiveness of cleaning process, and it will also give the assurance that the residue of previous product will not be contaminating the next product. And the next one is computerized system validation. Computerized system validation is nowadays it is very important in the system. It is also called as CSV. Means whatever the softwares we are using in the system, we have to validate those systems, so that it will give the assurance that our data is safe. Next subpart is change control and deviation, change management. Whenever we are doing any change in the system, it should be documented so that we can trace the changes, we can do the risk assessment on the changes, we can check the effectiveness of the changes. Next one is deviation. The deviations are departure from the approved procedures. It is called as deviation. Deviation is also it is like means non-compliance, And when non-compliance is reported, we have to investigate it, and after investigation, we have to take a corrective action, and we have to monitor the corrective action effectiveness so that we can avoid the reoccurrence of that particular deviation. Now we'll see the contamination and cross-contamination. Contamination. The contamination is the presence of any unwanted substance in the product that was never intended to be part of that. Suppose some foreign particles are present in our material. It is called as contamination. The cross-contamination. The cross-contamination is the product-to-product contamination. Okay, it is very harmful. If the cross contamination is observed in the market, it will demolish the company image, as well as it is also impact on the patient safety. So we should take a proper care to avoid the contamination and cross contamination. The next type of contamination is a microbial contamination. If we are maintaining the proper hygiene and all the processes properly, we can avoid the this microbial contamination from our system. Now we'll see the quality management system. The quality management system, the main pillar of quality management system is a pharmaceutical quality system. It is also called as PQS. Second one is quality risk management. Third one is management review and continual improvement. First of all, we'll see the pharmaceutical quality system, PQS. It establishes quality policies and objectives. It defines the roles and responsibility. It integrates the GMP activities across the department and ensure regulatory compliance. It maintains the documentation and records. Means basically it is establishing the systems, procedures, so that we can maintain the traceability, accountability, and we can investigate if any non-compliance is observed. The next one is quality risk management. It is also called as QRM. It identifies the risk to product quality. We have to evaluate those risks to then control and reduce the risk, and support change control decisions. Applies risk-based approach. Okay, means suppose if we are identifying the risk, we should take a proper corrective actions, and we have to avoid those risks from our products and from our systems. Next one is management review and continual improvement. Review overall system performance, means we have to review our system, and when we are reviewing, definitely we will get some deviations, some complaints, or some investigations, and we have to take appropriate kappa. But sometime those kappas require some investigation, or we have to take some hard decisions, so that it should be important that we have to present those things to management, so that we can take appropriate decisions on those factors. Now we'll see the personal. First of all, we'll see the organization and responsibility. It is clear role, authority, and reporting structure. Means every person in the organization should be having a proper job description, and it should be linked with the organogram, so that reporting structure will be very clear. Next one is training. All person must be trained in GMP job procedures, hygiene, safety with regular refreshers. Means it is not like that once we have trained all the persons. It should be the refreshment training fundamental should be in our system. Means yearly training, or some improvement training should be there. Then competency. Only qualified and competent person should perform critical operations. Means all trained persons should be assigned for all the activities, so that we can avoid the risk throughout the operations. Next one is hygiene and health. Personnel must follow personal hygiene practices, wear appropriate protective clothes, and reporting illness. Means person should take first their own care, then after that they should care for the product, and suppose if there is some illness, they should report it to department, so that our product will not be contaminated. Beware in production area. No eating, drinking, smoking, or unsafe practices in the GMP area, so that our product will not be contaminated. Access control. Only authorized person should be enter in the production and critical areas, so that we can avoid the mix-up and cross-contamination. The records keeping is very important for the investigations, for the traceability, for the data integrity. Now we'll see the building and facility in detail. The first factor is design and layout. Logical flow of man and material, avoid cross flow and backtracking. Means if we are maintaining the proper logical flow, suppose uniflow, if uniflow is there, the product will not come back in the system, so that we can avoid the cross contamination. Main should be separate entry, and material should be separate entry. If the separate entry is maintained for the main, they can do their gowning in that area, and material should be passed to the material entry. Next one is cleanliness. Room must be clean, dust free and easy to clean. We have already discussed on this part. Segregation should be proper, so that we can maintain the material dispensing, production, packing, QC and waste proper, with proper segregation. Next one is environmental control. Suitable temperature, relative humidity and ventilation and dust control should be available in the area, so that what will happen, if we are maintaining this environmental condition, our product should be stable throughout the stability period. Lighting and space. Adequate lighting should be present in the area. It is measured in the lux, so that people, whoever is working in the manufacturing area, they can judge our product properly. Maintenance. Premises and machines should be maintained, repaired properly, so that we can get appropriate operation. Next one is status and labeling. The proper status labeling is very important to identify the status of the particular stage, particular product, particular material, so that we can avoid the cross contamination or mix up. Next one is utility. Utility is very important, because our all the operation is depend on the utility, like power, compressed air, then purified water. So utility is very important. Next one is equipment, design and construction. Equipment should be suitable for its intended use, made of non-reactive and non-toxic material and easy to clean. Means all the contact parts should be with SS316 cell, and all non-contact parts should be with SS30 It should be non-toxic and non-corrosive, so that our product quality will be maintained. Next one is installation and qualification. Equipment must be installed correctly and qualified IQ, OQ, PQ before routine use. When we are completing the IQ, OQ, PQ, then we'll get a assurance that our equipment is working as per the predefined parameters. Cleaning as per approved SOPs. Cleaning effectiveness should be verified. It is called as cleaning validation. Calibration. Measuring the testing equipment must be calibrated at defined interval. Means yearly basis we have to calibrate all the gauges, measuring scales, then timers and sensors. Maintenance. Preventive maintenance should be planned and documented. It should be a part of validation master plan, so that we have to plan in advance, so that we can manage this activity properly. Identification and status. Each equipment must be a unique ID and clear status labeling, so that we can validate it properly and we can maintain our activity properly. Records. Equipment logs must be recorded. Cleaning, maintenance, calibration, breakdowns, all the operations should be recorded. Computerized system must be ensure data integrity and control access, so that we can get a data integrity assurance. Now we'll see the good documentation practices. First of all, we can see what we can do and what we can't. Okay, cross out any mistake with single line. Original entry must be remain readable. Okay, so it is the basic principle of data integrity. Means it indicates that we are not manipulating anything. Do not type result, always write in ink. Okay, this is, it should not happen. Okay, explain the reason, initial and date when the entry is corrected. It should be proper practice that suppose if there is some mistake was happened, it should be recorded with the reason, so that it will give the, it will support to the data integrity. Do not obligate or overwrite original results. It should indicate the manipulation. Provide reference to test procedure when long procedure follows. Do not leave any empty result boxes. So if we are crossing the empty boxes, it will not give the chance to manipulate the document. Sign and date all the testing records, recording documents. Means whatever the operation we are performing, it should be signed and dated so that we can track the operation. Do not forget to initial and date each entry and correction. Report exact numbering value, no range or approximation. Do not report result as expected or confined. Maintain entries that are clear, legible and traceable. Do not use shortcuts. Record data directly in the control documentation. Do not record the data on scrap paper so that we can maintain the data integrity with all these principles. This is the classic example of good documentation practices. Here, suppose how here this diagram clearly indicating the wrong pattern to cut the uh, means mistake. Means we are putting two lines, or we are overwriting, or we are means cutting the small portion. These all are incorrect way to correct the error. These patterns are not acceptable in the GMP environment. Instead of that, we have to use the CLIDE method. C stands for correct, L stands for line through the complete error entry, I stand for initial, T stand for date, and E stand for explain. See this example, they cut the entry with single line and they have mentioned the remark with the reason, and they are putting their initial with the date. Now we'll see the production. In production, we have to see approved procedures, yes, like SOPs and BMR. SOPs and BMRs are giving the guideline how to operate the systems, how to operate the processes. Material control, only approved and released raw material, packing material should be used for the production activity. Weighing and dispensing, all the materials should be weighed before operation, and it should be dispensed with the production in the presence of production and quality assurance department, so that we can avoid the cross contamination. uh, Process control, critical steps must be monitored and record: temperature, time, speed, yield. These are the critical process parameters. It should be recorded so that we can assure the process quality. In process checks should be important to ensure the quality of the product throughout the process. Prevention of contamination and mix-up. Proper cleaning, line clearance, segregation and labeling must be followed to ensure the prevention of contamination and mix-up. Then packaging operation, control to ensure the correct product, correct label and correct batch, so that we can maintain the proper packaging operation. And deviation handling, if any deviation is happen in the system or in the process, it should be reported, investigated and documented so that we can avoid the reoccurrence. Quality control. Under quality control, we have to see the sampling. Whenever the raw material, packaging material is coming to the uh, facility, it should be sampled and tested. At every in process stage, we should sample and it should be tested. Finished product, it should be sampled and tested, and all the releases should be done after satisfactory testing. Then we have to see specification and standard. There are some guidelines. Specifications are prepared on the basis of pharmacopoeia, so that we can maintain the specifications or guideline to perform the testing, and we can get a consistent results. Now then, next one is stability study. As I said, all the products should be loaded for the stability for the predefined period, and product should behave properly during the stability period, so that it will give the assurance that our product is performing well during the market distribution. Laboratory control, QC lab must be clean, organized and controlled to prevent the contamination and mix up. Next one is instrument and equipment. QC instrument must be qualified, calibrated and maintained. Documentation. All the test results must be accurately recorded and reviewed. Release or rejection. Only material and products meeting to specification should be released. OS and investigation. Whenever the out of specification is reported, it should be investigated and it should be documented so that we can avoid the reoccurrence of OS. Now we'll see the contract job and services. It is basically technical quality agreements between the suppliers or between the service provided. It gives the proper responsibility of both the parties. Means which party will perform. So it is very important. Complaint and recall. Complaint recording. All the complaints should be documented, reviewed, and evaluated promptly. Then investigation. All the complaints should be investigated and identified the root cause. When we are identifying the root cause, we should take appropriate kappa to avoid the reoccurrence. Then we have to prepare the trend so that we can get a idea about the complaint. Then recall procedures should be established in our system. Traceability. Product must be traceable through batch records and distribution data. Then regulatory communication. Whenever the recall is performed, it should be reported to the regulatory authorities so that all the authorities should be aware about the recall, and there is no ambiguity should be happen between the regulatory authority and manufacturing facility. And also we have to check the effectiveness of the kappa. Now, internal audit or self-inspection. As I said, internal audit is basically self-inspection and it is led by quality assurance department. First of all, we have to train the means qualified team on the self-inspection, and we have to form the team, and that team will means perform the self inspection throughout the organization. And after performing the self inspection, they should report all the observation, and after reporting the observation, they should issue the investigation, and after investigation we should take a appropriate kappa, and on that kappa we should take a follow-up, and we should also present those kappa in the management review meeting. Basically, self-inspection should be performed twice in a year so that we can maintain the GMP culture in the organization. Next one is qualification and validation. Qualification proves the premises, utilities, equipment, and system are properly installed and work as intended. Validation proves that process, cleaning method, and system consistently produce the desired results. Together, they ensure the quality is built into the process, not tested at the end. Under qualification, we have to see the DQ. DQ is basically design of the equipment. Installation, install correctly as per the specification. Operation ensures operate within the defined limit, and performance assures performance performs consistently in the routine conditions. Now, under validation, we have to see the process validation. Manufacturing process consistently produce the quality product. Then cleaning validation. Cleaning removes residue and contamination. Method validation. It is related to QC, analytical method validation, and computer system validation. As I said, it is also called as CSB, and it is related to electronic system or softwares. Now we'll see the change control and deviation. Change control, formal system to manage plan changes. Change must be raised in writing. It should be impact assessment or risk analysis should be performed before initiating any change. QA should approve all the implementation. Then after that we should revalidate or requalification if the changes are related to equipment, system, or processes, and it should be prevents quality issue before the occurs. Now we'll see the deviation. Handling of unplanned departure from the procedures. Deviation must be reported immediately. Root cause investigation should be happen. Then kappa should be taken, and that kappa should be tracked routinely so that we can get assurance that we can avoid the reoccurrence. So friends, I have explained the GMP. Today I tried to explain this GMP topic in a very simple way. Hope you will like this video. If you like this video, you can share this video with your friends and also subscribe our channel and like our channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.